All right, here we go. It's finally Friday, and if you don't mind, I want to start this podcast off on a serious note. I do want to say thank you for all the emails from all over the globe asking about the fires here in L.A. This week, I haven't been close to any of the new fires you've seen on TV, so while I continue to feel blessed that we've escaped this so far, I still can't help but feel for those, my fellow Angelenos who've lost everything. Now, we've tried here to donate money to help animals who were displaced, food, clothing, and donations. But I'll tell you what, it just doesn't feel like enough. You see, every day you see people losing everything like that. But I do want to say thank you again for the concern and the well wishes. I did put a map up on X that shows you where the new fires are, and I have a blue line drawn to where you can see where I'm at and adjacent to where those fires are. If you want to go to X, just x.com Rat's Ass Podcast, and you'll see the map that I posted there. All right, let's do this. From Hollywood, it's the world-famous Mojo Elliott, set to go with another action-packed adventure of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Now, if you haven't stopped by the new ratsasspodcast.com website yet, it's been up a week, drop by this weekend and check it out, because it really is your one source to listen to the podcast. While you're listening, you can read the blog. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, where the conversation always continues between podcasts. I think you know by now, if you're a regular listener, I love the X. Absolutely love X. And I'm happy to announce that we have reached 1,000 followers on TikTok. So whenever we're ready, we can go live. I just got to figure out what we want to do. I've had 5 months to figure this out. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Now, Megan from Burbank, California, who emails the podcast often, recommended that we start a Rat's Ass Podcast fan club. And on Wednesday, I asked you to email, and first, tell me, do we need one? And second, what would we call it? Overwhelmingly, the answer was yes, create a fan club. I get it. You know, we're developing a really tight-knit family here on the Rat's Ass Podcast, and it's a global family, too, by the way. And I'm really happy to see this grow. So we're going to try to find something fun to do on TikTok. But the last thing I will do is put up a video showing you of me doing a podcast. There's nothing more boring than sitting there watching somebody. You know, they have a lot of DJs and guys. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Maybe to a lot of people. It's not to me. But, you know, I don't want it to be boring. I want it to be something fun that you look forward to. And staring at me on a camera, I just don't think that's exciting at all. So when we come up with something fun, we'll definitely do it. But as far as the fan club goes, we had several suggestions for names. I've tallied up the top 3 so far, and if you come up with something better, we'll go with it, all right? Because we're going to leave this up to you. So far, number 1, the Rat Bastards Club is number 1. Number 2 is the Vermin Squad. And number 3, the Mischief Mob. Now, as you know, a gang of rats is called a mischief. So we got Rat Bastards Club, the Vermin Squad, and Mischief Mob. Those are the top 3. So keep mailing your suggestions. If you got one better than that, I want to hear it. We'll keep taking them till the end of next week, and we'll announce the winner Monday, February 3rd. Sound good? ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. All right, we're ready for football this weekend. The NFL Conference Championships happen. Not thrilled with the 4 teams we've got left. 2 of them will play in Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans on February 9th. But we got Buffalo at Kansas City this weekend, Washington at Philadelphia. I looked at this and I said, you know, as a Raiders fans, I can never root for Kansas City. I don't want to see them get a repeat. Washington and Philadelphia, if you're fans of those teams, I'm sorry. I'm not thrilled by either one of those teams. Buffalo, again, they've lost 4 Super Bowls. So I'm going to go with Buffalo because I want to see them get one. I'm tired of hearing Buffalo Bills fans cry. This is a good football team. If anybody's going to beat Kansas City and knock the Chiefs out, it's Buffalo. So I've got Buffalo and Philadelphia going to the Super Bowl, and Buffalo winning the whole damn thing. All right? Like I said, Bills have played in 4 Super Bowls. The Eagles got a Super Bowl. So let's get one for the Bill fans. Let's do that and end Kansas City's run, stopping it at 2 championships in a row. I don't think I could stand 3. I just don't think I could do it as a Raiders fan, knowing how much I loathe the Kansas shitty Chiefs, all right? And I know Chiefs fans are going to email me now, and it's just like, bring them on. It's okay. I like to spar with you. But it would spare us 2 weeks. Let's face it. If Buffalo beats Kansas City, we won't have to spend 2 weeks hearing more about the romance between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. No more Tavis. No more Tavis. Although Jared Allen of the Bills, I think he's engaged to Haley Steinfeld. She's not as popular as Taylor, but it does have that quarterback singer feel to it. Maybe that would increase her profile, so to speak. Have you noticed how quickly President Trump is putting his administration policies in place? I mean, he got after it like right away. Day one, he was working hard. Now, this is what leadership looks and feels like. Big difference. I think you can feel it and you can see it because it's scaring a lot of people. Like going, slow down. No, keep going, man. Rev it up. Go as fast as you can, President Trump. Let's get some things done here. All right? But you see the big difference between Trump and Biden, who spent half his presidency being non-transparent and on the beach in Delaware. Now, I'm going to talk about Democratic dipshittery here, and I want to make this clear up front. There is the Democratic Party that is sensible, that has common sense, that's more centered. Then you have the dipshit Democrats that like to do all the dipshittery. Case in point, Elon Musk with the Nazi salute dipshittery this week. Everybody extends their arm. And here's the problem that we have. The dipshittery Democrats pull this crap, and they do this on purpose to try to get the Republicans, libertarians, independents, they try to bring them down into the gutter with them by pulling out this crap. Republicans responded with multiple pictures of Obama, Biden, Pelosi, Harris, Ocasio-Cortez, several other Democrats in similar fashion extending their arm. They're just saying hello to people. It's an arm extension. It's not a Nazi salute, but they pull this dipshittery off so that they try to draw you into the gutter with them. So here's what you got to do. You got to ignore this crap. You got to ignore the dipshittery because they'll go away. Once you don't give them what they want, their feelings are going to get really hurt, and they're going to go away. No, they're not responding to us anymore. They'll keep trying for a while, but if you just ignore it and go away and stop responding to them, we'll get rid of all this dipshittery that goes on. And I find it interesting how a few of my neighbors, who I know are staunch Democrats, by the way, are now saying that they're libertarians. I told one of them to stop it. You'll never be a libertarian. I know, because I've been one for 35 years. Okay, we stand for a very short, small principle: limited government, personal freedom, and capitalism. All three things Democrats, even if they're sensible Democrats, despise. You know you hate capitalism. You know you like government control. So give me a break. Stop with the libertarian thing. You want to call yourself an independent? Go ahead. Because you're embarrassed to admit that you're a Democrat now. I get it. But stop with the mucking up the Libertarian Party. All right? Stop that. This Sunday marks 5 years that we lost Lakers great Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, who was 13 years old, and 7 others in a helicopter crash on January 26, 2020. His copter went down about 6 miles from my home, and I used to hike that area off Las Virgenes Road and Willow Glen Street in Calabasas, where the crash happened. I can't believe it's been 5 years already, but I remember that morning like it was yesterday. I had gone to the grocery store, and, you know, it's very rare for us to get a combination of fog and a really soupy marine layer that comes in off the ocean, which is about 10 miles away, by the way. But I came out of the grocery store and noticed how soupy it really was, and I go, God, this is rare. And then I know, I can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure I heard his helicopter fly over. Because by the time I got home, which was probably maybe a 2.5 mile drive, I'd kind of gone out of my way that morning to go to a different grocery store because it was early in the morning. And my phone blew up. I had texts, emails coming in about it, and flipped on the TV, and they had already had helicopters flying over showing where the accident had happened and who was involved. They were going to Kobe Bryant's basketball academy in Newbury Park. And but I got to tell you, that day, it was a very soupy-looking day. We usually get a little bit of fog, but you can still see in the skies. That morning, I couldn't see very high up. That's why I'm saying I heard the helicopter. You couldn't see it. And I guess what happened was the pilot got kind of turned around, discombobulated, lost, and hit the hillsides in Calabasas. And you look at Kobe Bryant, a guy 41 years old at the time, beautiful family, historical player, losing his life like that. And it really, again, we deal with fires, we deal with earthquakes, we deal with these kinds of accidents, and it really, you question why these things happen, but I think it happens. It's God's way of getting us to focus on what's important. That's the only thing that makes sense to me on all of this stuff. All right, it's game time. I've added a new game called Head Trauma to the podcast, and it features multiple categories of trivia that I'll rotate from podcast to podcast. Last time we did Total Recall. This round we're going to call it Star Quotes. So think of Jeopardy. The name of the show is Jeopardy, and then you have a board with all kinds of categories. That's kind of what this is. It's called Head Trauma, but every podcast you'll have a different category to answer. And trust me, it's going to get harder as we go along here. I'm trying to introduce this to where it's fun, easy. So we're going to do this round called Star Quotes. It's where I give you a celebrity quote and 4 names, and you have to just, figure out who said it. It's that easy. I'll give you the answer coming up on the podcast and post it on the Rat's Ass Podcast Facebook page that you can connect to at ratsasspodcast.com. All right, here's the quote, and give me a second here. For some reason, it is really dry today for some reason, and I spiked that one pretty good. All right, here's the quote. I'm too old for this pop star life. I'm too old for this pop star life. All right, who said that? Was it Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, or Selena Gomez? Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, or Selena Gomez? Hang on, I'll get you the answer coming up. Are you ready for some loose behavior? God knows I am. All right, pull up your pants or leave them down, whatever floats your boat here. Let's see what's happening, though, on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. This is where we choose an interesting post on X, and we share a few comments just to get us warmed up here. All right, Peapod posted this one. If you knew you only had 30 days left to live, what would you do? If you knew you only had 30 days to live, what would you do? All right, Jimmy Stitt said, I'd borrow as much money as I could, go spend it on a Ferrari and drive coast to coast. I love that idea. Ray Ray said, I would go on a sex binge, nailing as many babes as I could. That'd be kind of cool. Borrow a bunch of money, buy a Ferrari, and go on a babe-banging binge coast to coast? Yeah, that could work. Kristen Moore, who responded to Ray Ray, she said, I would avoid you. No Ray Ray in her life. Denise Green, I would take off for the Bahamas and die on the beach. I guess that's another way to do it. Have you thought about it? Just when I brought it up, now what would you do? If the doc said you only got 30 days to go, what would you do? Personally, I don't want to think about it, to be honest with you. All right, let's get into today's Celebrity Sleaze. It appears the heat on Meta's Mark Zuckerberg for leering at Jeff Bezos' wife's fun bags won't let up. People continue to chastise him for being a sexist. Actually, no, Mark isn't being a sexist. Well, maybe he's being a sexist, but he's being a man. He's being a man. Ladies, I got to tell you, if you don't want men looking at your fun bags or your puppies, hide them. Cover them up. Lauren Sanchez wanted everybody to get a good look. And Jeff Bezos was fine with it because he laughed it off. So should you. Okay? Here's the game, ladies. I know the game well. If you're not attracted to the guy, you don't want him leering at you. But if he's cute and he's handsome, oh, look at these. Check these out. The globes light up, don't they? Mm-hmm. But don't throw them out there and call us sexist when we take a peek, all right? Just don't do that. All right, the mayor of Philadelphia, Sherelle Parker, can't spell eagles. Did you see this? She was leading a cheer, and she spelled eagles E-L-G-S-E-S. This is who the mayor of Philadelphia is. That's who's running the city. One of the top 5 country, God, I can't even say it. Top 5 cities in the United States. And I'm busting her cooter because she can't spell eagles. And I can't even say cities or countries. But anyway, it's costing her points at home with her husband because he's taking a lot of crap at work. And I can imagine this because Philly fans are relentless. In fact, if I was Ben, I'd withhold sex from Sherelle until she can spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious backwards. But congrats to Sherelle for winning this week's Rat's Ass Podcast Dumbass Award. And you can see all of them on the Rat's Ass Podcast blog at ratsasspodcast.com if you want to check it out. Now, rumors continue to circulate that failed ex-president Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston are having a fling. They're wrinkling the sheets together. Aniston appeared this week on the Jimmy Puss Puss show to address the rumors. Check them out.
The magazine that came out a couple of weeks ago in touch said the truth about Jen and Barack.
That was of all the calls you get from your publicist where you're just like, oh no, what's it going to be? Or the email saying, some cheesy tabloid is going to make up a story. And then it's that.
Yeah. Does your publicist ever go like, is there any truth to this? Or
No, that is absolutely untrue.
Well, I know it's not true. Yeah. I just don't know if everybody knows.
Well, it is untrue.
Some people, it is untrue. So the truth about Jen and Barack is that there is no truth.
There is no truth.
Untrue. You know Barack Obama.
I've met him once.
Met him once.
I know Michelle more than him.
What is there a truth about you and Michelle that we should know?
That is not true.
So there you have it. She says it's not true, but you noticed she did say she was not mad at the story being published. Got her name out there again. Makes her relevant. And every time I see Jennifer, I can't help but think about Horrible Bosses. Oh, my God. Ladies, if you want to keep your man close by, if you can duplicate Jennifer Aniston's persona in Horrible Bosses, I promise you, you'll never have to worry about him. Oh, such a good role. But do you believe her? Aniston has a history of picking losers, so it wouldn't shock me if her and Barack were bumping uglies. It really wouldn't. True or not? All right, but who gives a rat's ass on this stuff? The wait is over. Here comes the most popular part of the show, the Rat's Ass Podcast email from our Gmail. It's where you email your questions, comments, thoughts, and observations to me at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com, and I respond. No topic is out of bounds. I cannot be offended. It's impossible to do. But the more outrageous and salacious, the better. I do not read your emails in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can respond rapid fire and on the fly. And Fleabag has promised me today. He gave me a heads up coming in saying, today is very salacious. You'll like it. So let's find out. All right. Ali D. from Santa Barbara, California said, I've been dating a guy for about 4 months, and he refuses to meet my parents. Any suggestions on how I can change his mind? Well, let's see. You know what? I've been through this before. When I was a young guy, I didn't meet parents. I didn't date a lot. I just went out chasing skirt. I was one of those bird doggers, baby. I didn't want to meet parents. And I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why. I didn't feel like I would like that process of having the dad put his arm around me, walk me into his den, and show me, head busts of dead animals saying, yeah, that place up there is reserved for you if you touch my daughter. So I said, you know what? I'll touch your daughter, but you'll never meet me. So I understand what you're dealing with here, Ali. But I think what you could do is to tell your parents to meet you at a restaurant and accidentally, on purpose, run into them. Now, we might suspect, but if you're good and your parents are good actors, you might get away with it. All right, Chris Y. from Columbus, Ohio. I have been juggling two girls since Thanksgiving, but both of them want to get serious now, and I don't want to. What would you do in the same situation? I think you got to pick one. I think you got to pick the one you like the best and eliminate the other one. Juggling two girls, I've never done that. I think the worst thing that ever happened to me is that I went out with 3 girls in one day. But to keep juggling like that, I think at some point it's just going to get bad. So pick one, the one you like best, eliminate the other one. My suggestion, I'm sticking to it. Noel T. from York, England, said, I just turned 21. I'm dating a 35-year-old divorcee with 2 kids. I really like her, but I don't like her kids. And she insists on taking them everywhere. He wants to know how to get her alone. Noel, I hate to say this, but I think she's after you for maybe you got a few bucks or whatever. You're showing her a good time, her and the kids, paying for everything. That's why she wants to take the kids everywhere. They're like I'm just going to call it what it is. They're cock blockers. All right. So if I've learned anything from watching movies, Noel, I've learned that you never shoplift the pootie. Okay. Norm K. from Duluth, Minnesota. Want to hear something funny? This might sound shallow. Oh, God. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, all right. He said, I just broke up with a girl I was dating because she had feet that looked like a man's. She has man feet. Yeah, I know. Oh, God. I know what you're saying, man. Oh, God. You get these women that have feet maybe size 7 and above, and they wear high heels. They do look like men's feet. They do. Oh, golly. And chicks over 5'7", sometimes they look like they have a man's ass, too. So there you go, and all of that. Yeah, that was funny, Norm. Thanks, buddy. Corinne B. from Greensboro, North Carolina. I got engaged over Christmas, and we set a wedding date for this June, but I'm having second thoughts. Do you think it's normal to have second thoughts? Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't worry about that. Everybody's going to have second thoughts because basically your life's going to change tremendously and hopefully for the better when you get hitched up. Okay? But yeah, second thoughts are normal. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, it depends on what those second thoughts are. If you're pining away for an ex all of a sudden, then I would say maybe that dog doesn't hunt. But if it's second thoughts about giving up your freedom, don't worry about that part because you'll just be free together. But if you're thinking about ex-boyfriends that you don't want to give up, sleeping around and stuff like that, those are different second thoughts. So it really depends on what those second thoughts are, Corinne. All right, keep sending your emails with your thoughts, observations, comments, and questions to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. I can't get man's feet out of my head. It's almost like, what was the Seinfeld episode? Man hands. It was kind of like that. All right, but anyway, keep sending them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com, and I'll give you my 2 cents that makes no sense on the next episode. All right, head trauma. The answer, star quotes, is the category today. Who said this? I'm too old for the pop star life. I'm too old for the pop star life. And I don't think any of these ladies have man's feet. Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, or Selena Gomez? Who said it? Would you believe it was Selena Gomez? She said she was too old for the pop star life. And 2 weeks later, she announces she's in the studio working on new music. So you can't believe what anybody says. Britney Spears, by the way, is 43. Lady Gaga, 38. Katy Perry just turned 40. And Selena Gomez is 32. But she said she was too old for the pop star life. Did you get it right? All right, I got a split, but I do have one more thing for you. Studies say people generally see you as being 20% more attractive than you think you are. Now, this could explain why, once upon a time, Angelina Jolie once hooked up with Billy Bob Thornton. Think about it. All right, shout-outs in the USA to folks listening in Charleston, West Virginia, Stillwater, Oklahoma, Jackson, Mississippi, and Maui, Hawaii. Fleabag, first listener in Maui, Hawaii. You don't know. He doesn't know. Why do I not pay him for anything? Around the world, Cancun, Mexico, Waterford, Ireland, and Georgetown in the Cayman Islands. God, I'd love to live in the Cayman Islands. I say that because I've never been to the Cayman Islands. Just everybody, when you hear Cayman Islands, they automatically say, oh, I love the Cayman Islands. You've never been there. You don't know for sure. They just like to say it because it sounds cool. All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Make sure you check out the new ratsasspodcast.com to connect with us on the socials, listen to podcasts, and check out the blog to find out about the 5 places you can touch your lady that will drive her absolutely insane. All right? We're going to do this again on Monday, January 27th. We do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, weekly. Take care of each other, and thanks for stopping by the Rat's Ass Podcast, a division of Mark Elliott Media, in partnership with the Ozone Podcast Group.